installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 46 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Neutrina products and carries Weaver equine and livestock supplies and Preferred farm equipment. So, if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of new farm fencing, visit All Around Fence, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Dinosaurs have taken over the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium. Take a trip back in time this summer and come face to face with some of the largest and most intriguing animals that ever walked the earth. From Triceratops to Tyrannosaurus Rex, your favorite dinosaurs lurk around every corner. This special exhibit is free with zoo admission. Stomp on by soon. These amazing animatronic creatures will disappear once again on September 7th. Plan your visit today at pittsburghzoo.org.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Yinzer Palooza Weekend, presented by Mrs. T's, returns to PNC Park July 24th through the 26th, when the Buccos battle the Chicago Cubs. Kick off the weekend Friday night with a free Yinzer themed tea for the first 20,000 fans. Then Saturday, the Doctor is in as the first 20,000 fans receive a Dr. Robbie bobblehead. Then cap off the weekend Sunday afternoon when kids 14 and under take home a Daniel Tiger plush while supplies last. Get tickets at pirates.com.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, and you're listening to The Sports Voice. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates, never short of controversy, a lot happening in New York. Some really bad managerial decisions to pull two pitchers with less than 85 pitches. that led to disaster in the end. Actually, both of them on the same day. This coming after, over the weekend, Christian Curtis making his debut, also getting pulled with less than 70 pitches, and the bullpen blowing that game as well. The bullpen is a major problem right now for your Pittsburgh Pirates. They are trying to piecemeal address it. Nothing really seems to be working. I think in the end, it comes down to Donnie Kelly basically saying that we've got guys for the 7th inning, guys for the 8th inning, and then guaranteed either Soto or Santana in the 9th inning. And you've got to get to a point where you realize this just isn't going to win you games, at least not enough to make it into the postseason. When it comes down to it, if the Pirates finish a couple of games out of that wild card, you're going to have to start taking a look at how these starting pitchers have been handled, especially knowing how shaky this bullpen has been all year. There's still, I guess, a chance to address it at the trade deadline, but as we talked about last week, there are so many teams that are still in a playoff hunt. Who actually is going to want to be a seller at the deadline if they still think they have a shot to maybe generate a little extra revenue and get a couple more home games, making it into the postseason? So a lot to think about for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't think that really anyone thought here, knocking on the door of August, that we'd be talking about potential playoffs, but we are, and the Pirates need to realize that. Maybe a little over expectations of even where they thought they were going to be, but now they're in a position where they've got fan interest, and the fans don't want to just say, hey, let's tank it now and start thinking about the future and what's coming next. That's been going on for decades. The fans are looking for an opportunity to win now because, especially with the hitting on this team, there looks like potential that could be done. So we'll talk a little bit about what's happened with the Pirates since the All-Star break, with the Guardians, with the Yankees, and, of course, getting ready for Yinzer Palooza this weekend with the Cubs, and then the Diamondbacks on the heels of that. These are not easy games. They're holding their own, but it could be a lot better at this point for your Pittsburgh Pirates. One of the big pieces of controversy happened in that Yankees series with Dennis Santana and Jose Caballero of the Yankees. Caballero has been long looked at as a potential violator of this pitch count thing. They called him on it. There's a lot to this story. There was almost a huge brawl between him and Santana one night, and then a couple of days later, Caballero gets called for a violation of this pitch clock. So we'll talk a little bit about why Aaron Boone very upset with the fact that he was not notified by Major League Baseball. The umpiring crew basically came out and said, we were told not to notify you. They were instructed to get him by Major League Baseball. So a lot to get into there. We'll look at some of the other things happening in baseball as well. Not a huge news day. I think that, maybe this is a day we can get into some other things and some other stories. I think we focus so much on local in Pittsburgh that potentially we can look at some other things that are happening in the world of sports. The National Football League, they're back, everybody. Yes, there are teams that have already reported to training camp. There are several teams where rookies have reported, but the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers both reported yesterday because they're playing in that infamous Hall of Fame game. So they wanted to get back a little bit early. We already have injuries. Nick Scourton, one of the really good young up-and-coming linebackers for Carolina, torn ACL, so he's done for the year. The Steelers still have days until they report. The latest you can report is the 28th, which is next Tuesday. That's when all of the Steelers are scheduled to report to St. Vincent. And, I wonder, do you need one of those special online tickets to go sit on the hill with your terrible towel and wave it? Or is that, for something a little more prestigious? I'll let Nick fill us in on that because, well, I won't be making the trip to training camp this year. Not like I've made it for the last 3 decades. But the Steelers, to me, are intriguing. I obviously not a fan. say a lot of negative things about the Steelers, as people tell me. They call me out more on the Pirates than the Steelers, but I've been pretty kind with the Pirates. I don't know how kind I'm going to be today with some of the things that I've seen in the last week or so. But I think that, when you look at the Steelers, I've said for years they're the most unlikable team in football. And I wonder, was that just a reflection of the fact that they had the most unlikable coach in football? Now with Mike McCarthy there, don't get me wrong, there are still unlikable guys. Aaron Rodgers is still there. DK Metcalf is still there. Jalen Ramsey is still there, at least for now. So they haven't really shed that at this point. But I wonder how intriguing this team could be, especially when we look at a little more focus being put on offense. By this time next week, when I come on, you'll already have heard from all of the local hacks how great everybody looks up at camp and how the biggest battle is between Will Howard and Drew Aller, like this is a Super Bowl team. They definitely drafted like they were a Super Bowl team. We'll remind you of some of those great draft picks the Pittsburgh Steelers made this year, because there will be a lot of focus on them at St. Vincent's for the next several weeks. But in the end, is this a team that can make the playoffs? You start looking at a team like Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes back ahead of schedule. You look at Denver. You look at two teams in their division, Baltimore and Cincinnati. You look at Buffalo and New England, who represented the AFC in the Super Bowl. There's only so many playoff teams to go around. Don't forget Jacksonville made the playoffs last year. Don't count the Colts out. There are teams, the Chargers are another team that's going to be in contention. This is not going to be an easy road if the Pittsburgh Steelers want to make the postseason. So this is the beginning. The beginning starts on Tuesday, and I'm sure people will flock to see 42, soon-to-be 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers in his swan song, trying to stay upright and lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the promised land. In addition to all of that, we've got other NFL news. We've got college football news. Lane Kiffin, the new head coach of LSU, a lot of controversy there with the way he left Mississippi. And now Sam Levitt, the former Arizona State quarterback, apparently all healed up and ready to be the new quarterback for LSU. You start looking at Penn State, the changes that were made there with Campbell. College football's heating up as well. Less than a month, you're going to start seeing that, and then the NFL not long after. It's getting very, very close to football season. Hockey, not a lot of news there. Still rumors all over the place that the Penguins are trying to make a trade for Jason Robertson. He did agree to a one-year deal with Dallas, so we'll see whether or not that can prompt. Of course, he wants a huge deal, so the Penguins are going to have to be willing to give it to him, and who knows what they would have to give up to get him. But as of now, it's just rumor. If anything is going to happen there, I think we're still weeks away from that. It's the NHL just, I know we saw the two big free agent signings that were left. Sign Anthony Mantha, signed with the Devils. We talked about that last week. Patrick Kane today signing with Chicago, going back to his roots with the Blackhawks. So as far as free agency goes, they're pretty much all gone at this point. So hockey enters a little bit of a lull as you get into the end of July and most of August. Now we know with the new schedule, the season's going to start at the end of September. So I would say if anything's going to happen with Robertson and the Penguins, it's going to be end of August, early September. They're going to want to get him into camp to see what he has if they are actually going to make this move. They did agree to terms with his brother, Nicholas Robertson, so hopefully that will make things a little easier and smoother as far as the transition goes. Nick will have the NBA and WNBA roundup. No idea what's going on there. I know LeBron still hasn't signed yet, so we'll see. I heard there was maybe some fake advertising that the Clippers put something out maybe ahead of schedule, but apparently LeBron says there's no truth to that rumor, so we'll let Nick tell us all about that. And, of course, last week we had the Open Championship. Used to be the British Open. Now they just want to call it the Open, but it was in England, so I guess it could have been the British Open. Royal Birkdale, some low scores, but in the end, not a huge low score under par to win the thing, so I'm sure they're happy about that. They'll talk about how tough and challenging the course was. Ryan Fox, your winner, 10 under. Interesting, Cam Young posted a 64 9 under, and we thought right until the wire he was going to at least be in a tie for first place, and then Fox birdies 18, shoots 68 on the final day, one day after shooting 62. 362s, tying the lowest round for a major 3 times, happening at Birkdale over the weekend. But Ryan Fox from New Zealand, your winner of the 154th Open Championship. Or if you want to call it the British Open, you can, because, like I said, it happened in England. A lot of other stories, I'm sure, out there as well. So if we get into the second hour and we've gotten through pretty much everything we have to, hopefully we can talk about, maybe we'll talk some NASCAR or some Formula One or Indy, or maybe Nick likes tennis. I don't know if anything was happening tennis related. We could talk maybe cricket or lacrosse or whatever else is going on. So I'll leave that up to Nick, and I'll do my best to see if I can figure out what's going on. But Nick Barczyk, yet again, I know I'm not in studio, but as always, good to hear your voice, and never a shortage of things to talk about. The Pirates will keep us busy, I'm assuming, pretty much for the entire first hour. You would think if you're the manager of this team and you know how bad the bullpen is, you would try everything in your power not to get to it, but it seems like we've been rushing it, especially in the last couple games.
Well, I agree, Dave, and again, good to hear from you. And it is the dead of summer, which of course means it's time for football and Steeler football. So this may be our last show we talk about the Pirates, because they could be winning the division by 20 games, and it does not matter, David, because the Steelers report to St. Vincent next week.
Yeah, a little bit late for that. I mean, that was the latest you could possibly report. They're not even having their rookies report sooner. I was looking at some of the other teams that are coming on the 28th, but the rookies were coming on the 24th. I was surprised that the Steelers were basically holding everybody back. I mean, we make fun every year. They don't do a whole lot up there. And, you know, one night's Dave and Buster's, and one night's some kind of buffet that they all sit and eat.
Movie night.
One night is go outside and terrorize the neighborhood around St. Vincent.
Has that changed,
one
though,
night
with a new head coach? Maybe that changed?
Maybe that's, yeah, maybe McCarthy says, hey, we'll wait till the 28th because we're actually going to work this year up there. And, you know, maybe try to hold them accountable for, you know, trying to get a little better before the season starts so they don't come out as flat as possible in week one.
As I'm telling all my Steeler fan friends, they're all happy Tomlin's gone. I keep reminding them, same owner, same GM.
Yeah, and that's, I think, even the bigger problem. Tomlin was allowed to do what he did because of the clown ownership that this team has. And it is a shame because when you look at Dan Rooney and you look at Art Rooney Sr., you didn't see that clown ownership. There were a lot of other comments that were made about how cheap they were and, you know, so many other things. But they seemed tough and, you know, set in their ways. And, you know, guys said, hey, we're going to sit in because we're not making the money that we want. Or, hey, Myles Garrett's making more money than me. Can you give me a little bit more? They would just get rid of you. This guy just appeases everybody because he's happy that they're above the mean, which apparently is 500. I just don't see the fan base all that excited about the fact that all this team does is finish over 500. They've got to at least try to make a little bit of progress. I think McCarthy is a good hire if you had better talent. I just don't think the veteran talent on this team is going to be enough to overtake Baltimore or Cincinnati. Even last year when the stars were hurt for Baltimore and Cincinnati, it still took until the end of the season for them to clinch a division that they were pretty much anointed to have taken in September. So I get it. There's a new coach, and it's a better coach. It's a more offensive-minded coach. It's a more likable coach. Like, everything you can say is positive, but then I look and I see Rodgers, and I see Metcalf, and I see Ramsey, and I see Hayward. I see all of these guys that I think are maybe a little over their head right now. Watt, they look like they're on the decline. And I think we'll have at least one more week, because next week's trade deadline week, to talk about the Pirates. And then we see what they do. We see how much Bob Nutting and Ben Cherington actually care about whether or not they make the playoffs. And if they don't do much at the trade deadline and they start to fall back, then I think you're right. I think it's pretty much all Steelers all the time. Will Howard and Drew Aller will be the number one story because everybody else's position's pretty much set in stone, no matter how bad they are. So I think in the end, that's what you're going to hear. The local hacks will tell you whatever they're told to tell you, and that's what we'll be reporting on. So
I heard
think
someone,
a little.
Go ahead, Dave.
Now, I think a little more hope this year with the Pirates
Yeah.
might get us off of all Steelers all the time, at least for the next few weeks.
Well, I heard someone on another station, God forbid I listen to those and I shouldn't, say that
Why do you do that?
he was more excited for the exhibition or preseason games this year than the regular season games because he said with the regular season games, we know what we're getting. We're getting a 42-year-old we've been watching for 20 years now. But with the exhibition games, it's new, it's different, it's Aller, it's Howard, and he was more excited for that. If you're more excited for preseason games and regular season games, I don't know what to tell you. You fell and hit your head.
I don't care what Howard or Aller do in those games. None of it counts. It doesn't mean anything. I'd rather see them play in a regular season game
Good luck.
and actually perform. But they'll never give them the opportunity. I don't know if it's out of fear, knowing that they won't be able to perform. But, in the end, yes, we know what we're getting in the regular season. We kind of know what we're getting in the preseason, too. A bunch of guys that we'll never see on the field unless there are significant injuries that take place. I can't see McCarthy being any different from Tomlin in that sense. Remember, McCarthy didn't come here to rebuild. McCarthy was hired to win because that clown thinks this team is a Super Bowl contender. So if you were going to rebuild, you would have hired one of the young guys. There's no way you're going to see any of these young players on the field. You're going to see all the veterans. Once again, that's why McCarthy's here. And unfortunately, when it all fails, it probably won't be McCarthy's fault, but he will take the blame for it, even though there's just not enough talent there to win. Look at that, Nick. It's 4:33 according to my clock here, and we've talked Steelers when we were supposed to be talking Pirates.
Well, of course, Dave. It's
we
football
can't get
season.
off of it. Yeah.
If it's a
I know,
day, if it's a day on the calendar, it's football season. Doesn't matter. It's July 23rd. Sorry, Buccos. We'll get to you next segment.
Hey, like I said, we've already got teams that have reported to camp. We already have a guy out for the year, a significant player out for the year.
I saw that.
But great news out of Carolina camp. As far as I know, Kenny Pickett is still healthy. I don't think his hands have grown any, but he's still healthy.
I was going to say,
So,
it's drier and warmer down in the south. Maybe his hands will grow because of that.
I'm going to tell you, I talk about a lot of coaches in the NFL. I talk about, Shanahan, McVay. Like, think about all these guys that we talk about that are like geniuses
Right.
that can take these players and get the most out of them. If Dave Canales can get anything out of Kenny Pickett, he will be the best coach, I think, in the history of the NFL.
Dave, I mean, look how good Bryce Young looks, and I don't think anyone
Yeah.
thought he was any good. So, yeah,
Right.
Canales is very good. That's a very weak division. But, yeah, if he can make something out of Pickett, put him in the Hall of Fame. He's up there with Lombardi and Knoll.
Bryce Young at least was a pedigreed quarterback. I mean, Kenny Pickett,
Ooh.
come on.
Hey,
The only team taking him in the top 3 rounds were the Steelers.
he has a Super Bowl ring, and he got to take a few snaps in the Super Bowl. Put respect on that man's name, and he led Pitt to an ACC title, and they'll probably never get back there.
Oh, that is true. He has more Super Bowl rings than just about everybody on the current Pittsburgh Steelers roster.
Or playoff
Even
wins.
Aaron Rodgers. Even Rodgers only has one.
Right. Does TJ Watt even
they're
have a
tied.
playoff win?
No, I don't think he does.
That's
Hayward has
incredible.
playoff wins, but
Right.
no Super Bowl rings.
Right.
I don't think Watt's ever had a playoff win. So
No.
there you go. So, well, there we are. So we've gotten through a huge portion of this segment. We'll get back to this. I know people love to talk about the Steelers. We'll get back to them in a little bit, probably top of the second hour. But let's at least address some of this that's been going on with the Pittsburgh Pirates, because this is just, to me, it's just pure insanity, because you had the All-Star break in the middle of all of this as well. So when you look at guys like Keller and you look at guys like Chandler, they haven't pitched since before the break. Why they're on these restricted pitch counts makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, it's bad enough when you're at 100. I mean, Keller threw, 75 pitches, and then Chandler threw 84. And you're taking them out, both pitching shutouts at the time when you take them out. Add on to that Christian Curtis, who was just recalled from Indianapolis for a doubleheader over the weekend. He pitches 5 scoreless innings with 68 pitches, and they pull him out. 3 starting pitchers, technically, because there was an opener in the Curtis game, 3 shutouts, and then 3 rushes to the bullpen to bring in lesser talented guys who blew games for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, they did escape in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday, took extra innings to do it, but they did get a win there. but the other two were losses. And like I said at the top of the hour, Nick, it's time to start thinking. Like this wild card race, it's going to be close. This could be something that comes down to the very last game of the season to determine who's going to be the wild card teams in the National League. You miss this by a half game or a game or 2 games or even 3 games, you got to start looking back at games like this. Now, I've been very complimentary, I think, at least for me, of Donnie Kelly throughout the year. This was utter garbage. It's not like these guys are pitching on 3-4 days rest. One came from the minors. You should throw his arm till it falls off at that point because you're not keeping him. He was the 27th guy in a doubleheader. The other 2 had well over a week off before they got in there and pitched, and you're yanking them that early for a bullpen that you know is shaky, for this Eisert, who's been, what the nicest thing I can say is bad. Since they brought him over from the White Sox, he struggled with the White Sox. Majinski got hit up. Santana continues to get hit up. I mean, you start looking at these guys that come in, they're not effective. They're not getting outs. And I think if I'm Donnie Kelly, you got to start looking at this closer position too. You either go get one at the deadline or you use the hot hand. It doesn't have to be Santana or Soto every single time. If someone's pitching better, maybe it's Dotel, maybe it's Matson, maybe it's Montgomery. If somebody's pitching more effective, then you've got to give them a shot to pitch in the 9th inning because the guys you're throwing in there are costing you games. I'm telling you, it's going to come down to it. The Pirates are going to be in the vicinity of this wild card. They're going to miss out by a couple of games, and then people are going to start going back through the season and looking at how many blown managerial calls have been made in games that should have been won that ended up being lost by this team.
Well, Davey, I think this team's taking baby steps. They are much better than they were last year. They have a better manager, obviously, but the question is it enough? And certainly the offense is way better than we thought. The bullpen has been awful. The starting rotation has not been up to par from what we thought it would be. Skeens has had his weakest year, but the whole rotation has been a struggle. Keller has not performed well as of late. And you mentioned Curtis in that spot start, technically not a start, but he pitched very well Saturday in Cleveland. But you're right, yanking these guys out, that's a Major League Baseball issue. I mean, guys are just, again, for lack of a better term, babied. Perfect games, no hitters, don't seem to matter. If they have a certain number in their head, they're going to yank these guys, no matter if the All-Star break's coming up, no matter how young and fresh they are. So, yeah, it's a league-wide issue. I don't think it's Donnie Kelly's fault. I think that he's being told to do that by Sherrington, by the front office, maybe even upper stairs than that. But when you look at this team on the field, I mean, late July, they were within striking distance of a playoff spot. You lose the series with the Yankees, but that doesn't really matter. You have the Cubs this weekend. That really does matter. And you have Jared Jones going, who's been really good. You have Skeens going, who's still your ace, but that bullpen's a major issue. I know everyone's still talking about trading O'Neal Cruz for Mason Miller. I just don't see that happening, and I just think they're going to mostly stay pat. They're not in a position to sell, but I don't know if they're necessarily thinking buy. So right now you're 53-50. You are 4th in the division, but you can definitely get a playoff spot if every facet of this team is striking, is striking well. And right now it's basically just the offense. The pitching's been a major disappointment. So we'll see. These are big series coming up, big games coming up, and they're within a playoff spot. Not the division, but they can get a wild card.
Well, unless Ben Sherrington somehow becomes the general manager of San Diego, I can't imagine that anyone in their right mind is going to trade Mason Miller for only O'Neal Cruz,
Right.
who has a broken hand and is a liability literally anywhere you put him on the field. So I would say that trade not happening unless the Pirates throw in some legit prospects, maybe a Hernandez or a Florentino.
I was going to say, would you give up either one of those or both of those?
Not for a closer, because you
No.
still don't have anybody that can come in the 7th and 8th inning, and that's
Agreed.
the problem.
Agreed.
Like this blew my mind. Like we've talked on here the last couple weeks about the worst pitchers in the rotation being Keller and Chandler over the last amount of time. Keller over the last maybe month or so. Chandler all year. You got both guys that are shutting out the Yankees, and you yank them
Right.
with less than 85. I mean, Bubba Chandler had 84 pitches. He's into the 7th inning, and you're going to yank him, and you bring in Brandon Eisert, who you brought over from the Whites. It gives up the runs immediately.
Right.
Immediately gives them up. Like, I'm not saying Chandler wouldn't have, but sticks in a third, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts against the Yankees, only 84 pitches, and you're yanking him out. He wasn't hurt. He had an extended period of time off with the All-Star break. It made no sense. It made less sense maybe to take Keller out because Keller had less pitches. Keller had, I think, 75 pitches when they took him out with a 3-0 lead. And I know they're going to say, well, Majinski, it made sense. Look at the matchups. He's been the most solid middle relief guy that you've had. He was a starter at the beginning of the year, but he blows it as well. Like, if you're going to blow the game, let Keller blow it. Let Chandler blow it. They've blown them all year. Give them the opportunity. See what they've got. Maybe coming fresh after a little break, that could rejuvenate them a little bit, and they never gave it a chance. Those two made no sense. I get Curtis. Curtis is the unknown. You gave him 5 innings. You had the opener in there.
He looked really
good. Looked real good, and hasn't looked good in the minors. Did not look good at Double-A. Couldn't believe he got a promotion at Triple-A. Hasn't looked that good in Triple-A. Looked a little better. Maybe he's one of those guys that just thrives in Major League Baseball. They're talking about if they trade Keller at the deadline, which is rumored. Maybe that's why they pulled him. Everybody thinks, oh, look what a great outing he had before he had a chance to blow it. That Curtis would be called up and put in the rotation. But you've still got other guys. Majinski, I'm sure, wouldn't be real happy if that was the case. So you've got situations there that are, beyond a lot of control. But I think, the guy that comes in next, you're going to pull these guys early. I mean, it backfired twice. It backfired with Majinski. It backfired with Eisert. And they both backfired in the same day. You got a doubleheader with the Yankees. Your 2 worst starters pitch in the games of the season for each of them, and you pull them early and then watch the bullpen come in and blow both games. Luckily, you win the first one, but you lose the second one. To me, it doesn't make sense. I thought Telly was better than that, and maybe he is being told, but none of it makes sense. These guys aren't hurt. They had extended breaks. Not like they, just pitched 4 days ago. None of what happened yesterday with these starters makes one bit of sense to me.
No, and I think it is a GM thing. I think they run a lot of these teams. That's just a baseball philosophy thing now. I mean, perfect games and no-hitters don't matter, let alone really good performances otherwise. I mean, you're right. Bubba Chandler, who has struggled, a rookie, pitching the game of his life in Yankee Stadium against the Yankees. Yes, no Judge. Yes, no Stan. That's still a really good lineup. Chisholm, Bellinger, we could go on. He's having the night of his life, and you pull him, and you pull Jared Jones when he has a perfect game going. I know the injury, he's dealing with the injury rehab, but yeah, the All-Star break coming up, but that's just baseball. But the pitching, yeah, it is what it is. It is underwhelmed. The offense, though, as Merlin Valdez, we have to give props where they're due. And this offense, led by that kid, I mean, good Lord. And what an acquisition Lau was. O'Hearn, great acquisition. Nick Gonzalez is hit. So, yeah, we'll give props to the lineup, but this pitching is underwhelmed. If we had last year's pitching to go along with this year's offense, they might be in first place.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a break because we're at that point. I do want to talk a little bit about the offense. There apparently were some rumors that potentially the Pirates could be negotiating with Lau for an extension, which I think needs to happen. The fact that, he's still there, his contract expires at the end of the year. You can't just let him walk. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Griffin coming back in September. Can you hold off that long? And then, the emergence of this Merlin Valdez, who's seemingly come out of nowhere. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little more Pirates with you. Don't go anywhere.
It's never too late for good dental health. If you've been putting off seeing a dentist, Dr. Renee Stevens can help. She's accepting new patients at the Connellsville Medical and Dental Office. Dr. Stevens encourages patients to schedule a visit and start on the road to better dental health. Call 724-632-6801. That's 724-632-6801. We accept most insurances, and we provide care regardless of your ability to pay.
Looking for a fun-filled week the whole family will enjoy? Well, the Fayette County Fair is back July 30th through August 8th at the Fayette County Fairgrounds. Enjoy exciting entertainment, carnival rides, games, delicious fair food, farm exhibits, and so much more. Bring your friends and family and make lasting memories all week long. To purchase $15 advance tickets, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County Fair, incredible fun for everyone.
Strap. Located at 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, newly remodeled, American-inspired, where Western meets Americana. We have all your red, hot, and blue accessories, American Pride handbags, crossbody bags, and wallets, along with the new Montana West 250-year anniversary American flag braided tote bags. Myra brand is back at strapping your favorite denim selections, bags and boots, including the Liberty Star bootie. We have bag charms, bag chains, an abundance of star-spangled jewelry, t-shirts, flip-flops, wild rags, scarves, and twillies. Here's to the red, white, and blue. Woohoo! Strap, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, 724-557-6184. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 5, and Saturdays, 10 to 3. Stop, browse, and shop, and let accessories bling.
Armstrong Internet is built for homes like yours, by neighbors who know what matters most. Fast, reliable internet backed by local experts who live here. That's 24/7 support with no contracts and no installation fees. No surprises. Just a reliable network to keep you connected to what you care about. Visit armstrongfiber.com and get connected as soon as same day. Choose a provider that supported your community for decades. Choose Armstrong.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Dinosaurs have taken over the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium. Take a trip back in time this summer and come face to face with some of the largest and most intriguing animals that ever walked the earth. From Triceratops to Tyrannosaurus Rex, your favorite dinosaurs lurk around every corner. This special exhibit is free with zoo admission. Stomp on by soon. These amazing animatronic creatures will disappear once again on September 7th. Plan your visit today at pittsburghzoo.org.
WNBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. Well, we've got a little bit of time left here at the end of the first hour, and we spent some time talking about the Pirates. Actually, we even spent time talking about the Steelers, who are getting ready for training camp to begin on Tuesday. But looking at the Pirates and looking at where they are, and they're right around that wild card berth, that final one. But some mistakes, I think, made from the coaching end of things, especially over the last week. A few games after the All-Star break, you had Cleveland, who is kind of like the Pirates. They're right around that same spot in the American League, fighting for, they've got a chance to win the division because of how weak it is, but potentially getting a wild card spot. And the Pirates had opportunities, and they played well, but they blew games once again that they shouldn't have. And then you got the Yankees, and the Yankees are a team that, traditionally that's a team you want to beat. You look at the Yankees as upper echelon, even though Judge is hurt and Stanton's hurt. They did get Max Fried back in that final game of the doubleheader yesterday. And you think, boy, if we could beat this team, and the Cubs, a team that is ahead of the Pirates right now, in the NL Central coming this weekend, the Diamondbacks, a team coming to Pittsburgh who they are in contention for this wild card. You want to make sure that you win the games that you're supposed to win, or the games that you believe you have in hand. And there were 3 games I think the Pirates had in hand in the last 6 that, they won one of them, but they blew all 3 leads and ended up losing 2 of those games. So you can't ignore it, regardless of what else is going on, because it's going to be that close at the end of the season. When we finished up that first segment, we started to talk a little bit about the offense and what's going on there, and that has definitely been the bright point this year for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I guess you've got to start with the National League's 3rd leading hitter, Nick Gonzalez. Gonzalez is hitting .313. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I've heard a lot of complaints about how bad of a defensive player he is. Even seeing in a couple reports that he might be worse than O'Neal Cruz. I don't think anybody's worse than O'Neal Cruz. Just don't forget, Nick Gonzalez is a second baseman who they're playing at third base because he's hitting the ball. So he's a little out of position I think he'll figure it out at some point. But Brandon Lau entrenched at second base. So Gonzalez is hitting, got to put him somewhere. So third base seems to be the play. Not exactly the big power guy, but he has hit 6 home runs in the last month and a half. So 313 average, nothing to bash eyes with. That's a really good place to be. The Pirates, again, have one of the leading hitters in the National League. Not to be outdone, Jake Mangum, the super sub that was acquired as part of the trade that brought Lau to Pittsburgh. They also got Mason Montgomery in that trade. So I don't know how much they're missing Mike Burrows at this point, but you start looking at what they brought in. It was a steal for Ben Cherington, and Mangum's hitting over 300 as well. Jacob Gonzalez, a quiet trade that was made right before the All-Star break. He's got a couple of home runs since joining the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, another pretty good acquisition for a middle-of-the-road, a platoon guy, probably platoon with Lau or maybe Triolo. When you look at it, someplace on the infield, Gonzalez can play first base, he can play third base. You could put him literally anywhere. We know Spencer Horwitz is due back off the injured list soon. Reynolds has struggled a little bit as of late, so has Ryan O'Hearn, but they're still hitting in the 270s. As Merlin Valdez, I mean, what a find this guy has been. Not stunning numbers in the minors, definitely power numbers, 13 home runs in his first 113 major league at-bats. But there are still issues. They've got to find a catcher somewhere. Triolo's playing every day now at third base, or at shortstop. So you got to figure out something there. There's a couple of guys I don't think are major leaguers, Billy Cook, Tyler Callahan, Rafael Flores. You can definitely upgrade here. The Pirates did make another quiet trade last week. They acquired Robert Hassel, former top prospect who was part of the Juan Soto trade from San Diego to Washington. Washington DFA'd him, ended up trading him to the Pirates. They haven't assigned him anywhere yet. It's been a week, so curious to see what they're going to do there. But I think offensively, they're in pretty good shape. Horwitz will be back. Griffin will be back in September. Cruz, well, you can keep your fingers crossed and hope he won't be, but he'll probably be back at some point too. And they've dealt with injuries, but the offense, Nick, definitely the strong suit for this Pirate team.
Yeah, Dave, and who would have thought that? It's a complete reversal from what we thought after last year, after going into this season. And it's good there's one unit of the team you can count on. That they were shut out last night. Max Fried looked awesome in his first start after 2 months on the injured list. But overall, they're putting up a lot of runs, getting on base, and actually driving in runners. You mentioned all the names, both Gonzalez, O'Hearn. You get home run potential from a lot of these guys. Valdez has been a revelation. So, yeah, it's good to see Reynolds is coming along after a really bad April. So, yeah, good to see the offense step up, the pitching, the dominant force as of late. But in 2026, they're not quite the lumber company, but good offensive numbers from a lot of names maybe we didn't expect.
Well, they've hit almost as many home runs at this point than they did all of last year. So definitely they've increased the power. They've increased the hitting percentage. Said Gonzalez is the third leading hitter in the National League right now. And you've got some guys, well, Mangum's over 3, and you've got some guys knocking on the door. So definitely that's been the huge upgrade. I'm sure we'll have to credit Matt Haig with something there. I can only imagine what all he's been doing to help this behind the scenes. But, yeah, the pitching needs a little bit of work. Some of the starters, definitely the bullpen. We'll wait and see what happens at the trade deadline, and that should dictate where the Pirates can go at the end of the season. Do they go home like normal, or do they get their first playoff berth since 2015? I guess to finish up, Nick, we might as well talk about this Jose Caballero story. This is crazy. I didn't realize all this was going on. I don't follow the Yankees that closely. I didn't know this was a major issue. Honestly, when I saw Santana freaking out, I had no idea what was going on. I thought maybe he was just surprised that he hadn't given up a run yet, and he was excited, but he was actually trying to tear after Caballero. I guess Caballero basically just waits and doesn't make eye contact with the pitcher until 8 seconds, which means that as a pitcher, you've got to wait. And some of these guys like to, get ready and throw, and he forces them into waiting, and nothing's really been said or done. There was an issue earlier in the year with the Blue Jays. I guess if you're in the American League, he played for your favorite team, Tampa, last year. So Aaron Boone said he wasn't really a fan until he became part of the Yankees. for doing this. And I guess Major League Baseball looked at it after the Santana blow-up, and they secretly planned to get him, which they did yesterday, and they basically called him for a violation. He was all upset, saying he's getting picked on. Boone was upset, saying the Yankees were never notified. But the umpire crew said they were told not to notify. They were told just to go out and get him, and they got him. And basically now, whether it's 8 seconds, 9 seconds, he can't wait until the very end because that's something in their rule for the delay of game. It's some sort of violation. So he's got to be ready, just like everybody else. And, well, you know me, I like these games to go as quickly as possible, so I'd rather him be in there and they can throw the pitch a little quicker.
Who would have thought we'd ever use the term delay of game in baseball? It's a whole new world, Dave. But, yeah, I think it's interesting that I think this is great. I think baseball needs guys like this, characters. Baseball used to be filled with characters, among them Pete Rose, but even lesser guys than that. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's good. He's feisty. The Yankees are relevant. They're having a good year. The Pirates get involved because they're at Yankee Stadium this week. I like it. I think baseball needs more of this. It's a long, humdrum kind of regular season. It's the dog days of summer. I like stuff like this. So it was fun.
Yeah, I get it. We need some things to break up the monotony of what Major League Baseball has become over the years. But, hey, don't worry. If the game goes too slow, extra innings will speed it up. We got that runner on second. That's a huge help to make these games go a lot faster. Yes, nothing cries amateur more than that. That is all the time we have for the first hour of the Sports Voice. Don't go away. Hour two, we'll really get into talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and, of course, all of the other major stories, some new sports to talk about, NBA, WNBA Roundup, and anything else that comes across. Don't go anywhere. Sports Voice is coming back.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Expanded threats and counter-threats. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The UK in the crosshairs after warnings from Iran that British bases used by American B-1 bombers could be targets.
British government responded quickly, saying the UK stands ready 24/7 to defend itself.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. Those bombers believed to be part of a U.S. surge in the region, reportedly to give the president more options. Meantime, Iran-backed rebels in Yemen attacking 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea.
That Red Sea route was key for Saudi Arabia. Now, at least temporarily, it's going to be a problem. 7% of the world's oil was flowing out of there. It's caused oil prices to spike. It also potentially opens up a second front in this war. President Trump has promised massive military retaliation if the Houthis keep it up.
The international benchmark Brent crude getting back over $100 a barrel. U.S. oil prices surging back over $93. President Trump says Iran wants to make a deal.
They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon.
Axios reporting he is considering a massive attack. More than 24 states are suing the Trump administration over requirements to comply with election rules in order to get disaster aid.
The lawsuit is challenging FEMA and Homeland Security policies, saying the administration is requiring states to help DHS with immigration enforcement and change election systems, like verifying the citizenship of every registered voter. If the states don't comply, they could see some cuts to federal funding. In similar cases since the start of the president's second term, the courts have been frequently siding with states A ruling last year barred the administration from putting conditions on other FEMA funding.
Fox's Jill Nato in D.C. Tropical storm Bertha heading inland northeast of Galveston, making a second landfall in Texas today after first hitting Louisiana. No significant impacts reported. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has two convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borge Jr.
President Trump demanding that Saudi Arabia normalize ties with Israel as part of a new civilian nuclear deal. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
An agreement allowing U.S. firms to develop a civilian nuclear program in Saudi Arabia is contingent on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says.
Look, this is a condition that the president has spoken about many times with our Gulf and Arab allies.
But that condition was not included when the agreement was announced by U.S. officials earlier this week.
The president is always the final deal maker, as you know, and this is something that he has mentioned on numerous occasions.
The Abraham Accords, created during President Trump's first term, expanded the number of Muslim-majority countries with diplomatic ties to Israel.
The Saudis have previously said a path to Palestinian statehood is needed first. Iran has claimed its nuclear program is for civilian purposes, which watchdogs dispute based on its level of uranium enrichment. The Justice Department is suing Colorado for offering in-state college deals to undocumented immigrants.
The DOJ is alleging that by offering in-state tuition rates and potential scholarships to some illegal immigrants, Colorado is effectively discriminating against U.S. citizens. And the lawsuit argues that in so doing, Colorado officials, quote, create incentives for illegal immigration and reward illegal aliens for breaking our nation's laws. The National Immigration Law Center argues that with an aging U.S. population, it makes economic sense to better educate everyone in the country.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. It's the 14th DOJ lawsuit over in-state tuition for non-U.S. citizens. A sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow and the NASDAQ, both dropping more than 500 points. The S&P sliding more than 1%. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
Good afternoon on a Thursday. It's 5:05, sunny and 78 outside of our Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. More on the Weather Watch and sports in just a bit. The Fayette County Bureau of Investigations carried out a search warrant in the city of Connellsville last night. Officials say they seized 10 grams of crack cocaine, 2 shotguns, a sawed-off shotgun, a .22 caliber revolver, and drug paraphernalia from a house in the 500 block of East Francis Street in the city. 38-year-old Michael Murphy was arrested and found to have several active warrants. Online court records show Murphy is facing multiple drug-related charges and having a firearm while prohibited. He's now in the Fayette County Jail with bail at $30,000. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held at the Fayette County Fairgrounds this week to celebrate the opening of a new $1 million small species barn funded through community and business donations. Among the contributors was 9-year-old 4-H member Harper Diamond, who raised $27,000 for the project by donating the auction proceeds of her pig. The 100 by 150-foot facility will accommodate up to 300 pigs, sheep, and goats, serving local youth and future generations starting at this year's Fayette County Fair, which starts a week from today. Following a recent state Supreme Court ruling that deemed Pennsylvania's estimated 70,000 skill games untaxed and illegal, Lawmakers now face a 120-day enforcement delay to act. State leaders have struggled for years to agree on how to regulate the machines, which give a crucial revenue to small businesses, local clubs, and VFWs. While Governor Shapiro previously estimated that legalizing and taxing the games could generate upwards of $2 billion, negotiators bypassed the issue during this year's budget talks. Because the legislature is not scheduled to return until late September, lawmakers will have less than a month to pass a regulatory framework before the safe harbor grace period expires and law enforcement can begin cracking down on the machine statewide. Torrential rains caused flash floods in West Virginia that inundated homes and businesses, washed out bridges, and led to numerous water rescues. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey sent hundreds of National Guard members to the hardest hit areas in the northern part of the Mountain State and declared a state of emergency for all 55 counties there this week. The State Division of Natural Resources has been involved in 85 rescues, and nearly 20 National Guard and state police helicopters were either out on rescue missions or standing by if needed. The governor said they don't have an exact number on those that are unaccounted for, but they are concerned about deaths. The Food and Drug Administration is still trying to find the source of the gastrointestinal illness that sickened thousands of people around the country, with many of those cases in Ohio and West Virginia.
More than 70 new cases of cyclosporiasis were reported this week, an illness caused by parasites linked to food and water. It causes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and has sent more than 300 people to the hospital. The FDA says it still doesn't know what's causing the outbreak. A previous warning that the illness was linked to lettuce grown by Taylor Farms was walked back after the results turned out to be a false positive. I'm Mark Mayfield.
More next on WMPS.
So what's the difference between the sheds I see in the parking lot of the big box stores and a professionally built and installed JDM Structures shed from Ultimate Structures? Good question. First, the manufacturer, JDM Structures, is one of the premier shed builders in business for 34 years. They use composite materials for the exterior with baked-on paint. This ensures you'll have an extended lifespan for your shed. And listen to this. 75% of Ultimate Structures orders are personally designed to satisfy the customer's needs. That's right. And the turnaround time for a custom designed shed is no longer than just buying a stock shed. Compare the roof designs, the superior piano door hinges, the quality of the wall panels, and personal customer service. You'll see. Come to the Mega Lot on Route 51 South, just outside Perryopolis. You need a shed? We can help. We design what you desire. Ultimate Structures.
In sports, no Bucco baseball this evening. Pirates are off. Take on the Cubs at PNC tomorrow night. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Jared Jones on the mound pregame at 6:15. Game at 6:40 on WMBS. Bucks are at 53-50 after losing 2 of 3 to the Yankees. Just announced recently, Dennis Santana, Pirates reliever, designated for assignment.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
This weather report being brought to you by Montgomery Medical. Trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care, newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. And now the weather.
Nice sunny summer day today on this Thursday. Went up to 79. Low tonight 58. Clouds and sun, but dry Friday. Tomorrow's high at 81. Same for Saturday with more sun, 81. Chance of showers Sunday, 82. Thunderstorms rolling in Monday and a Tuesday at 81 for the high. Tuesday at 80. Chance of showers Wednesday at 81. But overall looking like a nice dry weekend. Right now sunny and 78 at 5:11 on this Thursday. And good afternoon from the Davis studios at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. On the way next, the Stock Report, then the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway on WMBS.
This weather report was brought to you by Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Same-day appointments available for acute care. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment.
This is Kristen Bernard of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 506.9 points, closing at 51,712. The Nasdaq Composite was down 553.2 points, closing at 25,138. And the S&P 500 index was down 90.7 points, closing at 7,408. Among companies of local interest, Apple closed at $321.66, down $4.23. Amazon, $233.66, down $11.19. Cisco, $112.76, up 55 cents. Boeing, $209.23, up 58 cents. Caterpillar, $894.54, up $5.23. Disney, $92.83, down $3.04. ExxonMobil, $156.89, up $2.44. First Energy, $49.49, up 16 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $259.27, up $3.64. Home Depot, $324.71, down $6.74. Intel, $100.23, down $2.39. McDonald's, $262.80, down 77 cents. Meta Platforms, $606.10, down $21.07. PNC Financial Services, $249.26, down $3.25. Raytheon Technologies, $209.16, up $14.28. Rockwell Automation, $460.65, up $2.45. Tesla, $319.69, down $54.32. Verizon, $43.82, down 47 cents. Walmart, $108.40, down 93 cents. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 506.9 points, closing at 51,712. The Nasdaq Composite was down 553.2 points, closing at 25,138. And the S&P 500 index was down 90.7 points, closing at 7,408. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs, this is Kristen Bernard.
It's the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor area with a new fence from All Around Fence Company, conveniently located on Route 40 in Uniontown. All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 46 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Neutrina products and carries Weaver equine and livestock supplies and Prefert farm equipment. So, if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of new farm fencing, visit All Around Fence, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Bright Stripe, Bay County's premier asphalt seal coating professionals, locally owned by Matt and Lexi George. Bright Stripe specializes in residential and commercial asphalt seal coating, also excelling in line striping and layouts, thermoplastic, and infrared asphalt repair. Bright Stripe has succeeded due to their commitment to quality work for 30 years. Bright Stripe, 724-437-6090, or visit bright-stripe.com. BRITE-stripe.com.
Masontown Matters presents the Party Like It's 1976 dance Saturday evening, July 25th from 6 to 9 at the American Legion, Route 21 in Masontown. Features music by DJ Drew, free dance lessons, food and beverages for sale, and lots of fun. Tickets are $10. Contact the German Masontown Library or email masontownmatters@yahoo.com. 200 years in the making, the Party Like It's 1976 dance, July 25th at the American Legion in Masontown. Advertising funding from the Fayette County America 250 Committee.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Boys. Ahead on this hour, only a few days left until training camp begins. Get your towel, get your black and gold colored glasses, get your t-shirt that has Terry Bradshaw or Mel Blunt's name on the back, and get ready to go sit on the hill and watch a bunch of backups act like it's an event that means nothing. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be a little different with Mike McCarthy, a real coach in there this year, as opposed to what we've normally seen, where it's been all fun and games for the last couple of decades. But of course, Pittsburgh Steelers training camp gets everybody out of the house, into the sun, and over to St. Vincent to watch some non-football action take place for weeks. In addition to that, we've got the NBA and WNBA roundup. We've got World Cup to talk about. Forgot that ended on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit about the Open. We're going to really try to branch out into some other sports. So we're going to start you off with some breaking news. If you want to call it news, it's definitely breaking. The Pittsburgh Pirates have just made a trade. Don't get super excited, though, everyone. It's probably not what you're expecting. It was with the San Diego Padres, but it's not for Mason Miller. It is for a relief pitcher. His name's Ron Marinaccio. You may or may not have heard of him. He was up for a cup of coffee with San Diego this year. They designated him for assignment, and the Pirates have traded international pool money to get him. That's like big time for the Pirates. $500,000 in international bonus pool consideration money. That's like 50 guys that they can sign for that amount. None of them usually pan out because they send them to that Pittsburgh Pirate complex, and nobody really makes it that comes out of there. But Ron Marinaccio, the newest Pittsburgh Pirate, 31 years old, journeyman. He fits right in the bullpen, designated for assignment, waiver claim. I mean, this is normally what you're looking at when you're looking at how the Pirates fill up that bullpen. But even bigger news than that, this is the best part of the story. Not so much who they acquired and, his track record, but the Pirates, to make room for Marinaccio on the 40-man roster and on the 26-man, designate for assignment Dennis Santana. Yeah, you would think the Dennis Santana experiment is over, but I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't clear waivers, ends up back in Indianapolis, and then next week ends up back in Pittsburgh again. That seems to be the track record for a lot of these guys that the Pirates just can't make work for whatever reason. Santana, coming into the year, was the anointed closer on this team. 2-5 record, ERA over 6. Like, you can't keep sending him out. Well, now they got to figure out who else besides Gregory Soto might potentially close games, because usually it's one or the other that's in there. My guess, Nick, Ron Marinaccio gets to be the closer right off the bat.
So you're saying the Rob Marinaccio era has begun in Pittsburgh. How exciting. And just tell the Paco faithful that we got a reliever from San Diego. Not that one, and not even Trevor Hoffman, who I think I would take at the age of whatever he is, 55, over this guy.
I'm super excited because at 31, you know he's coming right to the major league roster. If he's in his 20s, you don't know. They might have to send him down to Altoona or Indianapolis just to make sure. But at 31, he's coming right there.
And Dave,
I'll bet we see him. How early into the game does he pitch against the Cubs Friday?
I can't wait. And Dave, he's a winner. He's 1-0 this year. He's a winner.
How could they DFA a guy 1-0?
He has a win, which in Pittsburgh makes him a winner. Buy him a case of Icy Light this weekend, folks.
Well, only one less than Santana, and he doesn't have the 5 losses to go along with it. So
can you imagine if Jared Jones is pitching another perfect game tomorrow and they yank him for Rob Marinaccio?
They bring this guy in, and he gives up like a 3-run homer or something. He walks 2 guys and gives up a 3-run homer.
Fly ball to deep left field, oh my God, or deep right field. Crow Armstrong has hit this one 500 feet off Marinaccio. Oh, God.
There are ways to improve the bullpen. This is not one of those ways. This is what they've been doing, which is why they're having the issues that they're having. You can't just go out and bring these guys in who've been cut by other teams. If they've been cut by another team, there's a reason. I can't imagine there's going to be a feeding frenzy for Dennis Santana. I can tell you right now the Dodgers aren't going to go take him. They DFA'd him in the first place, and then I think where he ended up in Philly or something, and then came to Pittsburgh. So, I mean, you've got to be careful. You can't put these guys out in prime situations, but most of the bullpen for the Pirates is filled with guys like this. So, yeah, I mean, at least it's something different. It does get Santana out of play for at least a little while. Hopefully somebody claims him. But I think in the end, this is not what we were talking about for the trade deadline. This might satisfy at least the Santana haters for a period of time. But in the end, you're going to have to do a lot better than a 31-year-old minor league journeyman. But it is news. It happened. People told me I didn't mention the Hassel trade. I actually didn't even know the Hassel trade happened last week, but it did take place while we were on the air. I was kind of thinking but wasn't really expecting. But it looks like the Pirates are in no rush with him as due to the fact he's yet to be assigned somewhere. So Marinaccio goes right to the major league roster. I think what they're doing with Hassel, they're trying to teach him how to hold the cone with both hands, because if he comes to the major league roster, he's probably going to take Billy Cook's place, and that's kind of what Cook, it's either Cook or Chandler that runs behind the player that hit the home run with the Miners hat on and holds the cone and, it kind of moves it up and down. So maybe that's the delay there. But, yeah, Ron Marinaccio, Nick, this is it. This could be the wild card right there.
I mean, if they don't win the division at this point, this is going to help them catch Milwaukee. If this doesn't, nothing will. But, no, in all seriousness, I mean, it is an arm. I guess it helps. It's not Miller. They're not going to get him, as you've mentioned, on and off the air. This is a big series this weekend. All the stars are aligned. You have Jones, you have Skeens, you have Ashcraft, you have the Cubs coming into town, you have Pete Crow Armstrong coming into town. This is a really big series, and I think the hero of it at the end of the week will be Marinaccio. I think he may save all 3 games, and we may have to carry him out on our shoulders this weekend.
I give him 2 saves and a win, I think, in those 3 games.
He's a winner. He's 1-0. Yeah.
You know they'll yank Jones early regardless because, the injury.
And I'm worried about Skeens. I mean, this has been Skeens' weakest stretch. I mean, he was so good the first 2 years. It's a big game Saturday night in Monaga. That place will be filled. And if he struggles against a really good lineup, I mean, because that's what you're going to be facing. If you get to a wild card series, Dave, as we look ahead, you're going to be facing really good lineups like the Cubs. So I hope he pitches well. I'm confident that Ashcraft and Jones will. But it's very odd you go into a weekend series and the pitcher you're most nervous about is Paul Skeens.
Not me. Skeens has won 3 in a row. Yeah, I was a little nervous when he was sitting there at 6 and 8, but he's looked better in his last 3 starts. I think a lot better in his last 3 starts.
He has, but still, there's some worry there, and this is a good test for the Buccos. I mean, they're at home, but this is a big weekend series, as big as a series in July gets, I think.
Skeens has to trust his stuff, and he has to trust his defense. I think that was a huge blow, that first game, Cruz botching everything in the outfield. You don't really have that now. I think if I'm Skeens, I'm going to throw whatever. It's not about striking everybody out. Don't let him hit the ball to third on the ground. outside of that, you should be good with the rest of the defense. I'm not worried about Skeens. Honestly, I'm more worried about Ashcraft after he got just absolutely annihilated by a Yankee lineup, missing Judge, missing Stanton.
It's still the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. That's a big ask for a young guy. So I'm not overly concerned, but we'll see.
Well, Yinzer Palooza, you going down to get your Dr. Robbie bobblehead.
First in line, baby. And you know that's why the people bought tickets. It's not for Skeens and Imanaga or the two good teams. It's for that bobblehead.
Do you watch the pit?
I do not. I understand it's set in Pittsburgh. That's why it's called that, but I have not seen it. I hear the guy who plays this guy is a great guy and a great actor, but I'm not familiar.
So I do watch it. I've watched the first 2 seasons. Yeah, it's set in Pittsburgh, but it's filmed in a studio that's a hospital setting. So I think they go down and take some pictures of downtown Pittsburgh, and then they use them at certain points. But I don't know if the actors, I don't know if any of them ever go to Pittsburgh. Maybe there's some outside scenes of the hospital. I'm just not sure exactly where they are. But the entire show is basically revolving around the hospital. And, yeah, Dr. Robbie's the main character. Noah Wiley, people that watched ER way back, plays him. And a great little video of him admiring his bobblehead when they showed him they were making it.
I'm sure he couldn't believe it. He's like, I'm not a baseball player.
He probably thought, this is getting given away at a baseball game? Like, I'm not one of the players. But, you know, when you give away Mac Miller and, you know, you start thinking about everything else that the Pirates have given away, Wiz Khalifa, you know, I guess they can market the non-baseball players a little more than the baseball players. Hopefully next year they have a nice supply of Connor Griffins and Esmerlin Valdez's and Ashcraft All-Stars. And yeah, I don't think they had a lot of potential coming in. But now, you know, O'Hearn and Lau, maybe every bobblehead they give away next year will actually be a baseball player.
Well, does this one sing and dance? I mean, some, maybe not dance, that'd be weird, but some of the bobbleheads that talk or sing, does this one have any audio on it? That'd be cool.
Not that I know of. I don't think it falls out of a chair like the Bob Walk did.
No, that was cool.
Doesn't,
and at least that was related to baseball because Bob Walk at one time played baseball and was pretty good at it.
It doesn't play music like the former catcher bobblehead that the Pirates had that was dressed in a robe and didn't even look like a baseball player.
Did you ever do that challenge with Cervelli? Did you ever go out to a
No, I tried. I reached out for years and no one would respond to me. Now would be the time because I can't move. I can't walk. He might actually be able to throw me out.
He could. That was one of the greatest lines in show history when I said about a year ago, what do you think Cervelli's up to? And you said, about 350. That was good.
Well, he's a coach, apparently a pretty sought-after coach. There was rumors abounding he might be the manager of the Pirates before they made the decision to go with Donnie Kelly. So he's definitely rising through the coaching ranks.
Ooh.
I would assume we'll see him as a manager here shortly within the next few years.
He was Team Italy's manager in the fake Olympics, was he not?
He was.
Ooh,
he
was.
was.
Beat Bella.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll root against him as much as I root against Derek Shelton, who, by the way, got a win today over Cleveland, who couldn't put him away 12 innings.
How is Minnesota doing?
They're under 500, but not by much.
Shock.
But they still have talent. I assume they're going to jettison some guys at the trade deadline because they said they don't want to spend money anymore, which is he's the perfect manager for that gig because he's not going to win whether he has money or not.
No.
So it works perfectly. But, yeah, that's our baseball. I guess I should look before we move over to football, see if there are any other baseball stories. The Red Sox won, 15 games in a row?
Yeah.
Finally had that streak ended last night by Baltimore in a doubleheader.
Awful start to the season. I guess firing Cora helped.
Yeah, but huge for Boston. That was a team we thought were going to be sellers at the deadline, and now all of a sudden they're like second place, I think, in the AL East. So that's not going to be happening. They might go out. I know the Fenway Group doesn't like to spend money, so
and Roman
doesn't
Anthony's
mean they're going to be
right.
Yeah, Anthony's been out most of the year.
Exactly.
And Marcelo Mayer's been out. Like there are a lot of guys hurt on that team.
Right.
But they don't like to add payroll, so I can't imagine, regardless of where they are, they're going to be all in for anything. Another big story from Kansas City: Bobby Witt Jr., All-Star for the Royals, first time in his career going to the injured list.
Wow, that's awesome that it took him that long. But yeah, I mean, he's always, every year it seems like he's the one Royal All-Star. So there you go.
Yeah, and Shohei Ohtani's been playing, been hitting, but not pitching did a bullpen session last night. Apparently, it looked pretty good. So we might see Shohei back on the mound next week, which is definitely good news there.
We need
if you like the Dodgers.
And we need Judge
Well,
back.
I think if
we need
if you like
stars to play.
baseball.
Right. I want to see Judge out there. I want to see Ohtani pitching. It's good for baseball.
Yes, definitely. The more stars out there, the better. All right, Nick, this is what everyone's been waiting for. We're only a few days away. Next Tuesday, everybody reports to camp. I think, next Wednesday, you can go sit on the hill with all your stuff and cheer on either Will Howard or Drew Aller, whoever your favorite is, to win that third quarterback job that will never see the field. I don't know how many injuries it would take. I would say both guys ahead and at least 3 guys from the scrap heap to get hurt before one of those two actually sees game action in a regular season game. They might actually trade for Mac Jones before they would allow either Aller or Howard to stand behind center in a regular season game. But don't worry, all the hacks, the locals, they'll be talking about what a great battle this is and how this is going to determine the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. Honestly, if it's either Howard or Aller as the future quarterback of this team, I could see a lot of rough years coming for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dave, the movie The Odyssey's out, and it's about ancient Rome. And the only picture I have when I think about Steeler training camp is Aaron Rodgers sitting down on the side of the practice field, and in robes, Aller and Howard fanning him with big palms and feeding him grapes. That's my picture of Steeler training camp. It's so fun. You have this old guy who won't move, who was pretty good last year until that playoff game. He's going to come back with his old buddy McCarthy, and then these 2 kids fighting out for the backup job. And you know who gets lost in the shuffle? The guy who's probably better than all of them at this point, Mason Rudolph. Poor guy can't catch a break.
Not with the Steelers, he can't. And, you go to a lesser team, you end up in Tennessee and don't do much there and end up getting beat out of a job. So, yeah, I mean, Rudolph, that's not the answer either. I think Rudolph, Rudolph in there will guarantee you a decent position at a quarterback in the first round next year. But what's going to happen is they'll keep Aller as the third string. Probably nobody will take Howard. He might survive the practice squad. And you're going to go into next year with neither one of them playing, saying, we know it's one of them. One of them is our quarterback of the future. And you're going to pass up on, potentially a legit quarterback of the future. Maybe a guy talked at the top of the show about Sam Levitt, who's going to be the quarterback at LSU. Maybe he's around, depending on where the Steelers could be picking. But no, we're going to go all in. We're going to bring in Mike McCarthy. We're going to bring Aaron Rodgers back. We're going to go old. We're going to try to stay above that mean. We're going to see maybe you get lucky, you get into the playoffs, you actually win a game there. Haven't done that in a decade, but maybe with a fresh coach and a fresh philosophy on offense, you might be able to pull that off. It was so close last year to, making that happen, although they did get blown out by Houston, and primarily because of Aaron Rodgers and, sort of a shutdown on the line and him not able to make anything happen and making bad decisions. But in the end, you're going with a team that's going to look eerily similar to last year. I can't see much from the draft helping. I mean, I'm looking at this draft. My first question is, did the Steelers win the Super Bowl last year? Because they sure drafted like they did. I mean, the first round, you had potential star receivers all over the place, and they had Concepcion out there. They had Boston out there.
Jeremy
these
Bernard's
are
a star.
big-time
Come on.
receivers, and you end up drafting Pele to come and play at left tackle or right tackle or whatever tackle you're going to try to put him at. But you end up with that, a project, a soccer player who's played line for 2 years. You draft Jeremy Bernard, a little guy. I mean, the little receivers are pretty much done in the National Football League, but you're going to bring one in the second round. You draft Aller in the third round, once again, a project coming off an injury, who may or may not be an NFL backup at some point in his career. Can't see him as a starter, although he was just lauded with accolades coming into Penn State, but got worse each year. But that was with James Franklin. It's hard to overcome that bad coaching. Then you get the corner from Georgia, Everett, which, may or may not, that might be the best pick that they made. Then you start going, you got this tackle who's going to play guard from Iowa, who looks like he stepped out of Deliverance.
Jennings Dunker, he's a fan favorite.
I'm sure he will be. You've got a kick returner who you draft in the fourth round. You bring in a tight end. You've got 50 tight ends on this roster that you don't throw to. You bring in a tight end in the 5th round. And then the 6th round, a defensive tackle who's undersized and potentially a troublemaker, a safety from Oklahoma that you definitely don't need, and a running back who's never going to see the field, shouldn't have ever seen an NFL roster, this Heidenreich from Navy, the local guy.
And they're not cutting him. He's local, and he went to the Naval Academy. He's getting a roster spot, Dave.
Well, he'll play special teams. They'll just put him over there.
Yeah.
So the draft, I don't think you're going to see any impact whatsoever coming from this draft. You'll see the first-round pick out there. They'll probably start him at left tackle because Broderick Jones isn't going to play. Then you'll put him at right tackle because he can't play left tackle. Then you'll be talking about maybe putting him at guard somewhere because he can't play either tackle. None of this makes sense. Bernard's going to be just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
He's going to get blown up at the line. I can't imagine he's going to break free. Like, you need big receivers. You had 2 big receivers in the first round, and you draft neither of them. You've got no depth, young receivers. You've got Metcalf and Pittman, who are both, at this point, over the hill. At least they look it for the position that they're trying to play. And then you're back to talking about Roman Wilson again, who Aaron Rodgers wants nowhere near the huddle and nowhere near running a play because he had him benched last year. I mean, you talk about the offense getting better, but I don't know where that's going to happen. The quarterback who can't move is a year older. The line is worse. The receiving core, I just don't see any explosiveness to it. I like the running back. I like Warren and Dowdle.
That's a good core.
But will they have space with the bad line?
No, and I think Pittman and Metcalf will do very well in Rodgers' offense because they're veterans. He's not going to force feed the ball to young guys he doesn't like Bernard and like Wilson. So, yeah, I think the veterans will do well. Freiermuth, I think, will do well. Maybe Darnell Washington coming off injury, another fan favorite. So,
but we heard he was going to throw to the tight ends last year, and he didn't do it.
Well, new coach, this offense will look better. It will be crisper, even with an old quarterback. It has to be. When you're going from Tomlin to McCarthy, it would take a miracle for the offense not to look better. It just has to. So I'm excited about the new acquisitions at Pittman and Dowdle. I mean, it's not exactly JSN and Barkley, but they're new. They're fresh. It's something to look at. And there's not a lot of new and fresh besides for the head coach. I mean, you're bringing back the quarterback. And, I mean, the offense will look different. I'm just worried about the defense, frankly. It's old. It's overpaid. I don't know much about this Graham fellow, Patrick Graham from the Raiders. But Juan Hayward looked washed years ago. Certainly Cam. But we'll see about the secondary. Porter, another year with him. Yeah, I mean, bring Rodgers back and you're going to win 9-10 games and guarantee even if you do make the playoffs and even if you win that elusive playoff game, you're not winning more than one. And, Dave, you're going to win way too many games to get a good quarterback, and there's plenty in next year's draft with Moore, with Arch, with Sellers. You're not going to get any of those guys. So, I don't know.
True.
Aller and Howard, one of them will be the starter next year. And, again, as this guy on the other station said, he's more excited for the exhibition games because it's always about the future, a future that never arrives.
Well, there will be a lot of talk about the defense because if there's anything the people on the other stations love to talk about, it's the battle between who's going to be the third-string quarterback, and then it's the defense because it's just been ingrained, I think, in this area that defense wins championships. And 20, 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, there's a lot of truth to that. In today's day and age of the NFL, it just doesn't work that way. However, there are some intriguing parts of this defense. I really like the defensive line. I think that if it can stay healthy with Harmon, Benton, Y.A. Black, and Hayward, I think that you've got the potential makings of a unit that can stuff the run. Remember last year, though, Harmon was hurt, and then Hayward, he plays a couple, then he's on oxygen for at least a couple of series, and he comes back out. But he has looked more effective the last couple years than what he did prior. The linebacking core, which is supposed to be the highlight of this defense, that to me I think is the shakiest. I mean, there are stories out there already about Peyton Wilson and whether or not he's just a huge bust and he's done. Looked like he was going to be a stud coming out as a rookie, but definitely been overtaken. I've said so much last year about Patrick Queen and how overrated I think he is. I don't think they let him do what he's supposed to do. Maybe they will now. Maybe they won't try to drop him back in coverage constantly. But I think when you look at that inside linebacker spot, whether it's Wilson, whether it's Queen, whether it's Cole Holcomb, who once again can't stay healthy, I think really good. I think he could be maybe the best of the bunch just because of his tackling ability, but he can't stay healthy. Malik Harrison, we saw him in there a lot. Up and down, I think more so than anything. But they've got to utilize those inside linebackers, and the outside linebackers have to play outside linebackers. They can't just be pass rushers, and that's all T.J. Watt wants to do. Highsmith will drop back a little bit. Sawyer will drop back a little bit. You'll see these guys get tackles, but Watt is just a straight beeline to the quarterback. I know Graham has talked about potentially using Watt in different roles, like, I don't know, maybe actually playing the position that comes after his name. But they're going to have to do that. I know. Can you imagine actually playing linebacker and not just rushing at the quarterback every single time? But he's been ineffective at best the last couple of years. Looks like he's sort of losing it, but I think it's just everybody knows what's coming. So hopefully you get a little bit more out of him. I think the linebackers have been the weak spot on that defense. The secondary, I think, could be a strength. A lot of it depends on Porter. You know they're going to pay him. Yeah. He'll be running his mouth until they do.
And he is really
good. You know they're going to pay him.
Even with the annoying dad and all the other stuff.
Yes, I didn't think he would be. I didn't think he was really tested that much at Penn State to be able to tell how good he could potentially be. I thought his first couple years in the NFL, he was shaky at best. I think he's been a lot better. We started to see him develop last year. You bring Jamel Dean in on the other side. I think that's a great signing for them. A little bit on the old side, but I think better than what you were looking at. Definitely better than Darius Slay. Better than Jalen Ramsey, or whatever you're going to try to get out of him. I wonder, he has a roster bonus due at the end of August. I wonder if he's even on this team, if they're going to decide to pay that to him. Because if not, you're going to move him, I'm assuming, to safety, because you're not going to need him at corner. But you brought Jaquan Brisker in from the Bears, and formerly at Penn State. I mean, if Deshaun Elliott's healthy, why would you put Ramsey out there at all? I think those two, to me, fit the bill perfectly for what the Steelers are going to try to do. I think Ramsey's only out there in a nickel or in a dime, one of those packages.
Right.
I think outside of that, I don't see him as a starter. I think the starters are Dean, Porter, Brisker, and Elliott if he's healthy. Maybe you keep Ramsey around until you figure out what's going on with Elliott. But I don't see the line in the secondary. Yeah. I think will be okay. I'm more concerned with the linebackers and whether or not they're utilized effectively.
Yeah, the defensive line's certainly going to be much better than the offensive line on this team, but I'm excited. I mean, even with an old quarterback, the offense will look different with McCarthy, and the defense will look different with Graham instead of Tomlin or Austin. Whoever ran it, it was Tomlin, but Austin in name only, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to have and even the special teams will look different. Danny Smith's not there, so that should look different.
Yeah.
We know Boswell, unless he goes back to what he was a few years ago, that awful year, he'll be good. But punt and kick returns could be a question. He did get paid. And I think with Tomlin gone, maybe we can try Caleb Johnson back on kick returns. Let the kid move on from that horrible mistake in the Seattle game. I think he has some talent, but after he screwed that up, they wouldn't go back to him.
No, and I think Wilson is another guy, Roman Wilson, that could be back there. I mean, you need to put your best people back there. I know they're going to want to put that rookie receiver that they drafted and try him out, which maybe that'll work because I can't see him ever playing the field at 5'9". But what's it, Watson, whatever, the kid from Iowa that they drafted as the returner. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what they're able to pull off and what looks different. If you're out there wondering, why are we talking about the Steelers like this is the preview for week one? Well, because by this time next week, all the locals will have been up at St. Vincent's and tell you how great everybody looks. So I figured I might as well at least remind you of some of the people who are there and the shortcomings that they have so that you're not just totally blown away by this fictitious report that comes out of St. Vincent's, making it look like this is a Super Bowl team. Because for the last decade, they've talked about it like it would be. And for the last decade, you've all been disappointed.
Well, who?
I don't see it.
Yeah, maybe not a week because that won't be enough time, but like 2 weeks from now, even before the exhibition game, first preseason game, who in general will the media be gushing the most about? And between Aller and Howard, who will they be gushing the most about? What's your prediction?
Well, I think they'll be gushing about Aller because he's the more pedigreed guy and he's from Penn State.
Right.
I think you'll hear a lot about T.J. Watt because I think in the early practices, they're going to have him sort of lined up to play linebacker and not just rush the passer. So I think it'll be a lot of hope that he's actually going to try to play his position. So I think you're going to hear about how versatile he is. You're going to hear about how young and how in shape Cam Hayward looks. And you're going to hear about Metcalf.
I don't know about Young, maybe in shape. I doubt that one too. I love
they'll
Cam.
say he looks younger than he has in years.
I love Cam.
You'll
but
hear
give me a
about
break.
Metcalf. Metcalf will be so excited. There's a legit receiver on the other side. He'll be talking about all the numbers he's going to put up this year. You'll have that talk about the potential of using the tight end, like you said, and of course the younger defensive players. They'll be talking about Harmon and Benton and Black and some of these acquisitions and Porter and getting paid. And,
Well, they love to hype up the
it'll be-
rookies, especially the first-round rookies. So Pele will get a lot of play whether he looks
I'm
good or
sure,
not.
yeah. Pele will be kicking the football up in the air and trying to kick it through the uprights, and they'll probably put a soccer goal out there.
And there'll be
They'll
some
kicking it into that.
There'll be some headline like Bernard may be small, but he plays big, something like that.
Now you'll hear how fast he is. They'll be talking, oh, he's so fast. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, they'll be gushing over everybody like this is a Super Bowl team.
I love training camp. I love it. I just love this
Love
time of
it.
year. I love it.
Love it. Can't wait. So we'll make sure we fill you in on everything the locals have been saying, just in case you haven't got a chance to hear it. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some other sports. We'll have a little bit of time to do that. Nick will do his NBA, WNBA roundup. We'll talk soccer, or Nick calls that football too, so we'll have to find out what that's actually called. We'll talk golf. We'll talk the Open. We'll see if any other breaking news has come across. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Well, look no more, because with over 200 vehicles, Gary's Auto Sales is the largest used car dealer in the area. Whether you want a car, a truck, or an SUV, you'll absolutely find what you're looking for at Gary's. Gary's has been in business since 1974. You can visit them online at Gary'sAutoSales.com, or you can give them a call at 724-626-8080. Gary's Auto Sales. Many miles, many smiles.
Main Street Theater Company presents Rent, July 24th and 25th at 7 p.m. and July 26th at 2. A Tony Award-winning musical and Pulitzer Prize drama winner, Rent follows the life of impoverished young artists and musicians struggling to survive and create in New York's Lower East Side. With songs that rock and a story that resonates with audiences of all ages, Rent has become a pop culture phenomenon. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call 724-439-1360.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturdays 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Rags a call today, 724-439-3228 for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
WNBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. Well, we don't have too much time left, and I do have a little bit of football news to go through here. We talked about the Steelers, and of course, you all know by now the 28th, which is next Tuesday, that is when all Steelers, veterans, and rookies will report to St. Vincent's for training camp. There are teams that have already reported. Arizona and Carolina are already there. They reported yesterday because they have to play in the Hall of Fame game, that dreaded game that nobody wants to be a part of, although you don't usually even see the backups in that. You see like the third string and fourth string playing in that game. I asked Nick on break when that is, 2 weeks from today. I'm telling you, football season is just right around the corner. The Steelers play the week after their first preseason game, the 13th of August. So before long, we'll be making our football picks. I have to make sure I'm back in studio by the time we start those so that DJ will be happy I can fill the actual piece of paper sheet out that I have to fill out. So that is the goal right now, to get back up and moving around a little bit to get back by the time he's ready to start doing these sheets. But other news in football, Tyreek Hill, of course, had the horrific injury in his leg. 10 months later, says still no power, so I would not expect to see him probably all year. The Raiders made a big signing today. They signed first overall pick Fernando Mendoza. Still waiting for Nick to get me an interview with him, but he signed his rookie contract, so he will be ready to report to camp with the rest of the Raiders in a couple of days. And the Baltimore Ravens, not that this guy was going to make the team, but maybe a little bit of a surprise. I think we were shocked he didn't get drafted. The Ravens waived quarterback Diego Pavia today. So some big news, I guess, out of football, Nick. And the Chiefs are getting a brand new stadium worth $3 billion, something like that. That's crazy.
That's the magic of Mahomes. And you're talking about all these young quarterbacks. Is Sorsby getting a deal, or is he signing autographs in Vegas?
I don't know. Sorsby was talking about going into the supplemental draft, and then I think that fell through. And then he talked to Canada, and I guess nobody up there wants him.
Well,
so I have no idea what's going to happen with Sorsby. Of course, the gambling scandal and not able to play college football this year. Talked about coming to the NFL, but it doesn't look like there was a lot of interest for him.
Hey, Dave, if he can't find a job, we all know he can fill his time up with his hobby.
That is true.
He definitely
probably
has
make
a
more
hobby.
money.
Not everyone has a hobby. Brendan Sorsby has a hobby.
He might make more money doing that. I liked Sorsby. I liked him. Well, obviously he was in Indiana at first, and then ended up in Cincinnati. Was transferring to Texas Tech. Ended up getting caught with the gambling, so just kind of in limbo right now. We'll have to check and see. Maybe next week we'll get some more info on what's happening there. All right, Nick, what's happening in the NBA and the WNBA?
Well, the offseason's going on, and speaking of older players like Aaron Rodgers, LeBron James is still seeking a destination. We think it might be Miami. I think he's narrowed it down to Miami or Philadelphia. He's already been to Miami, of course, won a few titles
What
there.
was the deal with the Clippers? The Clippers apparently advertised that he was coming there.
Yes, that would be very interesting if he spurned the Lakers for the Clippers, but he's not going to the Paper Clips. So there's that. That'd be a fun story. He's not going to the Warriors to join Steph either. And he's not going back to Cleveland. He's already done that multiple times. So he's either going to Philly, play with all those guys, Embiid and Paul George, PG, or he's going to a new team, or a team he's already been on, and try to win again, Miami, with Giannis. So should be interesting. But the NBA's feverishly waiting to see where old man LeBron goes. That's the big story of this summer.
What about the WNBA? What's happening there?
It's been a great regular season. Caitlin Clark is getting the you-know-what kicked out of her, but she keeps on trucking, man, hitting those threes, and the league does nothing about it. But it's their big showcase, Dave. We can confirm Saturday night is the WNBA All-Star Game. Will you be watching?
Maybe. Is Caitlin Clark playing?
Of course, she's an All-Star. Hey, now you're an
That's the
All-Star.
only reason to watch, right? You have to. If she plays, you watch.
Yeah,
If she doesn't play, you don't watch.
Sophie will be there. Aja Wilson will be there. They're stars.
I might have to turn it on and see what's happening.
Paige will be there. Paige back.
Saturday. Is that in the afternoon or the evening?
It's in the evening. It's prime time in
Morning?
Chicago.
Early morning?
It's 8 a.m. right next to English Premier League football.
Okay.
It's in the evening, actually. Good for the WNBA.
Is it on a station that we get? Is it on TV?
I believe it's on ABC. It's on a major network.
Okay. All right. I will. Maybe I'll be doing the WNBA roundup next week. I'll tune in and see what's happening. Saturday, you said.
Yes, All-Star games are usually unwatchable, and I'm sure this one will be as well.
Well, how are the regular season games? Are they watchable?
They're fun, yeah. Watch a little Indiana, the Minnesota Lynx. I've adopted them. They're scrappy. I just like.
You're
the
not
name.
still throwing stuff on the courts.
No,
they
no,
stopped
no.
you from doing.
They banned me. Yeah, they banned me. I mean, you're allowed to throw stuff, just not incendiary things or inappropriate things.
Okay.
You can like throw stuffed animals, but not what they were throwing.
Hats. Can you throw hats? Like they get hat tricks.
Yeah, when you hit a 3, I guess that's a hat trick.
There you go. All right, I will tune in for a little bit. We'll have a discussion next week on the WNBA. Nick, did you watch football over the weekend, or as we call it, soccer?
Oh, absolutely. Spain 1-0. That might have sent Messi into retirement. And great post-game stuff too. The Argentinians were sore losers.
Yeah, they were angry. I saw them up in the face of several of the Spanish players. Spain pretty deep. I don't know. I mean, they didn't have a major star, maybe like Messi. Well, maybe this Yamal kid, who's 19, plays for Barcelona. That's kind of their hope for the future. But, I mean, if you have one name, your name's Gavi or Pedri or something like that, you're probably a pretty good player. So I did watch a little bit of that game on Sunday, that final, and I saw, obviously, the fireworks that took place after. So just, I don't know, maybe a good look, maybe not a good look at the same time for soccer, but definitely a really cool show that lasted, about a month and a half.
It was a great spectacle. Good for North America for hosting. Congratulations to Spain. And when they scored that goal to win it, Dave, can you go through your goal call? I'm sure you screamed it very loud.
I was sitting on a chair just yelling, "Go!" It was so exciting. I don't know what else to yell. I don't know what else they yell in soccer.
That's it. Soccer's great. 2 hours with one score. It's phenomenal.
Go Lazo. Isn't that something?
That's
Can you yell that?
Good for Spain.
Yeah.
Women's World Cup next year. The Olympics have a big soccer tournament, but if you want to see the next Men's World Cup, you're going to have to wait 4 years, so don't hold your breath.
And congratulations to Ryan Fox for winning the Open Championship last week.
He plays
10
really
under par.
fast. I like Ryan Fox.
I like him. Well, I like the faster players because I play fast. I'm so bad. I try to play fast. Hope nobody notices the bad shots. But Ryan Fox, yes, one of the fastest players on tour. So congratulations to him. First major win for Fox in the career. The majors are over in golf, so no wins by Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson this year. I have a feeling it's going to be the same for many years to come from that point on. That's it, I think. We got anything else to add, or are we done?
I'll see you at St. Vincent, buddy.
Oh, I can't wait. We'll be in full swing, training camp with the locals.
Hey, 3 words.
Next Thursday.
Everyone looks great.
Everyone looks great. Third string quarterback. Get ready. Next Thursday, 4:15 to 6. Thanks for listening, everybody.
This is State Representative Charity Grimm-Krupa, proud supporter of agriculture, family farms, and rural Pennsylvania. That's why I'm excited to support Heartland with Haley. Haley has already made a real impact through her leadership in FFA, agriculture, and service to others. Now she's using her voice to celebrate the people and traditions that make rural Pennsylvania special. Tune in to Heartland with Haley.
Paid for by Charity for PA Rep.
Your local station, 590 and 101.1 W266DB, WMBS Uniontown. Good evening at 6 o'clock.
A new threat from Iran. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Tehran issuing a warning to the UK for letting U.S. forces use its bases during airstrikes.
Iran basically saying because the United Kingdom has allowed the U.S. to use its air bases for B-1 bomber raids over Iran, that those British air bases are now legitimate targets for Iran to potentially strike. British government responded quickly, saying the UK stands ready 24/7 to defend itself. That B-1 bomber, of course, a massive plane that carries more than 75,000 pounds of weapons. It can be refueled in the air. It can hit multiple targets on one run.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. Earlier, Yemen's Houthi rebels attacked Saudi tankers in the Red Sea. President Trump issuing a warning on Truth Social that if they do it again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible and that the U.S. will carry out major punishment against Iran and the Houthis. The increased fighting in the Middle East sent stocks in the red. The Dow lost 506. 6, the Nasdaq off 553, the S&P minus 90. U.S. crude oil closed over $93 a barrel. The House passing another war powers resolution meant to stop the ongoing conflict with Iran.
4 House Republicans voted for the war powers resolution, which directs the president to remove U.S. armed forces from hostilities with Iran, unless receiving congressional authorization. The 4 Republicans were Thomas Massie of Kentucky, Tom Barrett of Michigan, Pennsylvania Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, and Warren Davidson of Ohio.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The measure did not pass the Senate. President Trump welcomed the World Series champs Los Angeles Dodgers to the White House with praise for star Shohei Ohtani.
Last year, Shohei did what was previously unthinkable. Nobody thought it was possible. He collected his 3rd straight unanimous league MVP with a franchise record, 55 home runs.
The Dodgers won their 2nd World Series in a row last year, defeating the Toronto Blue Jays. America's listening to Fox News.
It's that time! The 10 best days of summer are back at the Fayette County Fair. Save now when you buy advance tickets, either online or at participating locations. Ride the Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round, and so much more. Fun for all ages. And don't forget the food. Funnel cakes, corn dogs, and freshly squeezed lemonade. Plus, non-stop entertainment. There's motocross, tractor pulls, demolition derbies, mud mania, monster trucks, even a rodeo. Or kick back and enjoy this year's great concert lineup, all included with your ticket. Our local favorites, the Clarks, the Oak Ridge Boys, Lost Years, Smith & Company, the Katrina Lid Band, and a lot more. Buy discounted tickets now through July 29th to save time and money for the whole family. The 2026 Fayette County Fair, July 30th through August 8th. For tickets, schedules, and info, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County.